So here in the garden at Morston Hall, we've got the Norfolk Grills Infinity range here, a brilliant piece of kit. And I'm doing a ribeye steak, one of my favourite cuts of beef, really is, and it works so well on a grill, especially an outside one. And it's partly because of the thickness of the steak, which makes it so juicy, and that fat running through the middle, I think is really important. And it gives you so much leeway when you're cooking it. And what I'm serving it with is these Norfolk new potatoes. You could use other new potatoes, but why would you? And I'm doing a sort of a stir fry. This is showing you the flexibility of this grill. Is that I can put a pan on there and I can do this, one of my favourite sort of stir fry things, which is bacon, smoked bacon, broad beans, new season broad beans, new season peas, and this. You'll all pronounce this wrong, but in Norfolk we call it samphire. Other people, in particular a mate of mine from Yorkshire, calls it samphire, but it's not. It's us Norfolk people call it samphire. And I'm also going to fry off a shallot. So I'm going to get my pan on and get it nice and hot and start doing my stir fry with the potatoes and everything. I've also got a rub to go on the steak. Now this is optional, but I like these dry rubs. This is quite a spicy dry rub. It's got lots of cayenne, it's got lots of paprika, some fennel seeds in there, some cumin, some fresh herbs, which is mint, essentially. But that's up to you whether you want to put it on or not. It adds flavour, but maybe you might think that the ribeye has got enough flavour without having to add it. It's up to you entirely. To begin with, one large onion or shallot, peeled and sliced. Before I do that, I'm going to get my non-stick frying pan on this piece of kit. I'm quite into this. This is like just a sort of on the side. You can do a sort of pan fry and things like that, which is really helpful when you're doing something on a grill. So get that nice and hot to begin with, and slice your shallot. Nothing too pretty with this. You may hear some background tractor noise. Listen, we're in North Norfolk, and Norfolk is actually quite well known for tractors. Just a little slug of oil. When you're happy that you think your frying pan is nice and hot, shallots go in, and you hear that. It's a great sign. I think it's a great feature. My onions are nice and soft, and they like the sort of texture of a burger onion. So they're ready now to add my bacon to. But I want to show you under here. My temperature is really up to heat. It's on 250, 500 degrees Fahrenheit. Open this up and you see this. So I have on my cast iron grill a pan of boiling salted water. I've got plenty of space here as well, so I can grill my steaks while this is going with the peas, the broad beans and the samphire. I've also then got this on the go, so on my hob top I've got my new potatoes with my bacon as well going all at once. It's going to be a bit of action, but it's a great way of cooking. Bacon's starting to colour up beautifully, so now it's time to add the new potatoes. Now what I've done with these new potatoes, I've sort of blanched them, parboiled them, so they're just about all the way cooked through. Chuck them in. Like so. Give the pan a good shake. Blokes love shaking pans. Look at that. All fitting in that pan beautifully. I've got my heat as high as it can go on here. And then, we're then ready to deal with these beautiful ribeye steaks. We just give it a little love with a bit of oil. Olive or rapeseed oil. Now then, the dilemma. Do you give them a rub with the dry rub, or do you keep it plain? Well, basically, it's all dependent on whether you like spice, because this dry rub is quite spicy. So maybe if you're doing these steaks for a few people, you could offer who wants the rub on it and who doesn't. I think I'm going to do one with and one without. I know which one I'd go for. Confidence. Straight onto the grill. Can you hear that? Can you hear that sizzle? Oh. And that smoke. Okay, so I think these are ready to rest. Really good, really good. Now, put my pan on the middle of the cast iron and I'm going to add my samphire, or as you call it, samphire. Samphire goes in first. 30 seconds later, the broad beans. A minute later, the peas, or depending on how much you've had to drink, chuck them all in together. And what I'm using is obviously a pan with a metal handle. You don't want to use a pan with a plastic handle and then watch it melt in front of you. So think about what pan you're using. Again, the centre of the heat is the hottest, and this is very hot. And I don't think they're going to take much longer than that. Lush. Now, back onto my hob top with my potatoes. Okay, now I'm going to take the steaks off the top here and we'll let them rest on the board. Look at them. I get very excited when I see something like this and it looks so good. My peas, beans and samphire are ready. Just going to add them here, all in one. Look at it. Don't want to waste any of it, it's too good. Okay. Oh, look. I don't care if I chuck it everywhere, it's that good. Back onto this. This will keep in there nicely. Lid back down. This piece of beef has had plenty of time to rest. Chef's perk to begin with. A little bit, it'll get a bit juicier as we get in. This is lush. Look at that. Oh, that's so good. This is my one with the spice rub. Okay. Look. I don't think you'd want it any rarer than that myself. It's entirely up to you, of course. I love that little bit of fat through the middle. Let me just bring this one over. So this one was the one without the spice rub. Look. You aren't going to complain if you get a piece of steak like that and it's like butter, isn't it? Okay, I haven't finished. So in here. Ah. Listen, if you don't want to eat a steak, how about that? So that's ribeye steak, Norfolk new potatoes, samphire, peas, beans and bacon. You can do that. It's easy. I've got to taste some. The chef's perks. Sometimes I surprise myself. Okay. This will be a generous portion. But I think when you do something like this, it needs to be a generous portion, doesn't it? So the new potatoes, the peas, the broad beans, the bacon and the samphire. And then the steak. Wow. What a lovely plate of food.